You have been a very good girl this year, Susie. So tell Santa, what's on your list this year?
My list.
Yes.
Let's see. 3 things.
3, okay.
3, okay. 1, everybody who is in debt of any kind. They wake up and guess what? All their debt is gone.
Oh, that's marvelous,
Yeah,
marvelous.
Pretty good,
Next,
huh?
what's next?
Next. Everybody who doesn't have a job but who wants a job gets hired in a job that they'll love and that'll pay them more money than they know what to do with.
Oh, that's wonderful,
Yeah,
Susie,
not so
wonderful.
bad. And third, maybe my favorite of all, is that everybody gets more pleasure out of saving money than spending it.
Oh, those are 3 very good wishes,
Good.
Susie.
But you know, you have a lot of work to do ahead of you, so you better leave right now and go prancing off across that sky to go where you are wanted.
Oh, very good, Susie. I'll see you soon.
Hi, everybody. I'm Suze Orman, and you're watching the Suze Orman Show. 'Twas the night before Christmas, so here is the word. This is the new best calls you've never heard. I want to wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah. Look, I have my Hanukkah gelt here. For those of you who don't know, it means money. I my candy canes. I love candy canes. But anyway, here's the scoop. I hope you're having a wonderful holiday, and thanks for joining me tonight. So it's Christmas Eve, and Santa's taken off for his annual sleigh ride. NORAD is tracking him across the North Pole, across the Pacific, to New Zealand, Australia, then Japan on his way here. While we wait, I've gift wrapped some of my favorite calls that didn't make it into the shows. I've got something for everyone tonight. Let's start with 2 questions about loans. Better be careful before you sign on the dotted line. Let's go to Georgia, and we have Kristen on the air.
Hey, Susie. How are you?
I'm good, Kristen.
You're going to be so mad at me.
Oh, what did you do? You either purchased a whole life insurance policy, borrowed money from your 401k, bought a bond fund, or what did you do?
I let love make a stupid decision. So basically what happened was about 7 years ago, I consolidated my student loans with my fiance. I was in love. I thought we were going to be together forever.
That's really stupid. That's stupider than the things I thought you had done. I thought, oh, maybe she co-signed a loan, but no, she did student loans. Okay, student loans that can never be discharged in bankruptcy in most cases. Go on. How much was his student loan?
His student loans was about $40,000.
How much was your student loan at the time?
Maybe 3.
3,000?
Between 3 and 5.
So let's just say it was 5,000. Are you telling me that you took your $5,000 and consolidated it with his $40,000, so now you have $45,000 of student loans that you are responsible for?
Exactly.
Yeah. So what's your question?
Okay. Well, actually at this point, I'm trying to go about this the mature way. At this point, we did get married, and at the present moment, we are actually in the process of getting a divorce. I haven't finalized anything because I did need to speak to Susie first before I made any other decisions.
Yeah.
But basically, at this point, as you know, we have 3 children. You know, we're getting a divorce, and I'm completely happy, and I'm okay with that. But I'm ready to move on. And I want to buy my children a home. There's so many things I want to do in my life. And I've spoken with the student loan people, direct loans, the Department of Education. They're saying that there's nothing that I can do. So basically, I wanted to know, what do you suggest that I do as far as I talked to my attorney. They did say that we can do what we can do is have him pay the student loans back through the child support and just add on those, on those payments. But at the end of the day, as you know, I'm solely responsible for that. And it was a super mistake that will never, ever, ever be done again. But what do you suggest that I do?
How old are your kids?
I have a 3-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 7-year-old.
So when you say that you want to buy them a home, You don't mean you don't want to buy a home for them. You want to buy a home for yourself, for all of you to live in.
Correct. Correct.
That's, all right, that's not how you said it. So I'm like, oh, she hasn't learned anything. She's living her life and going to do something now for her kids. So here's what I suggest. I suggest that you own up to it and you use my 6 favorite words, which are, I admit that I was wrong, and that you understand that, thank God, it was only $40,000 and not $140,000. I don't know how much money you make, but if I were you, I would be planning on paying for that loan amount out of my own pocket. You can do whatever you want, get him to do child support, get him to whatever, but if he isn't responsible, he's not going to send in the checks. He's not going to do the things that he's supposed to do. We just have to keep our fingers crossed that he has some sense of responsibility and he doesn't want to stick you with this. Other than that, girlfriend, there's nothing we can do but keep a good attitude. Let's go to Illinois, that great state that I was born in. John, what's on your mind tonight?
Hi, Suze. Thanks for taking my call.
Anytime.
My fiancee, whom I live with, is in desperate need of a car to get her daughter to school and for her to get to work. She's tried to get a car loan in the past, but with a FICO score of 550, it hasn't worked out very well for her. I have a FICO score of about 775, and I could help her. We're looking at used cars in a price range of about $7,500. I know it's never ideal to co-sign a car loan for someone, but in this case, is it a good exception?
Rather than co-signing a loan for her, what if you were to buy the car in your name and that therefore you own the title, you're responsible for the payments anyway, co-sign or whether you own it in your own name doesn't really matter,
right.
And that she then simply just pays you every month and you pay there because she's still just your fiance.
Right.
She then maybe will become your wife.
Right.
But it is also possible that she then will become your ex-wife. Things happen, don't they? So therefore, if she just was no longer your fiance or she then became your ex-wife, you would still own this car. You would be able to sell it. You wouldn't have to worry about it. And you wouldn't be putting yourself in a position where you're having to make the payments anyway on a car that she gets to be driving. That's how I would do it if I were you. Uh-oh, you caught me. I love candy canes. Anyway, listen to me now. With mortgage rates at historic lows, I know you may be tempted to buy a home, but you have to be able to afford it. What's a telltale sign that you can't? Take a look at this call from Debbie. Debbie in Connecticut, talk to me.
Hi, Susie.
Hi, Debbie.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Good, thanks.
Yes.
Here's the scoop.
All right.
My husband and I are purchasing a home for $300,000. We are very comfortably putting down 15%, but struggling to get to the 20%. So when we went to speak to the mortgage person, she suggested to borrow against my husband's 401k, and I wanted to get your feeling on this.
And this mortgage person who happened
Yes.
to tell you to do so, they make a commission if you get this mortgage, right?
Correct.
And I'm sure the real estate agent probably agreed with the mortgage person, correct?
Correct.
Both people who will make money off of you if you do something that you can't afford to do. It is ridiculous if you do not have the 20% down and you have to borrow from a 401k. You cannot afford it. You are denied. You know, I often talk about teaching your children the value of money. My next caller needed some guidance on handling an inheritance for her daughter. Let's go to California. Michelle, you're on the air.
Hi, Susie. Thank you for taking my call. I'm so excited.
Anytime, what can I do for you?
I am a widow, and I have a 12-year-old. And when she turns 18, she is going to come into a large settlement over $500,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I am starting to have the money talk with her now. She turns 13 this year. So when she becomes 18, she's not crazy.
Yes.
So I want to know what do I do? How how do I get her to that point so by the time she turns 18, she knows to get a trust, get a this, get a that? What do we do, Suze?
So, Mama, I have a question for you. Just out of curiosity, did you lose your husband in the same way that injured your daughter, that obviously she got the settlement, or was this from something else?
No, my daughter's not injured. The settlement is because of my husband's death.
Because of your husband's death. So it had some connection there. So,
Yes.
so that I had a feeling that that was probably true. So were you on any level financially taken care of as well, or is this just your daughter?
It's just my daughter, and I got a small stipend, but I work and I'm okay.
You're okay.
Financially.
And so here's the thing. You want your daughter to do something, and you have to make sure that she's doing what you're doing. Do you have the right amount of life insurance in place to protect her? Do you have a will? Do you have a trust? Do you have all those things that you need? Do you?
Susie, I bought your big box off the Home Shopping Club.
Yes, off the QVC, my silver box. So you did it all, girlfriend. You did it. All right. Here's what I would start to tell her. I would tell her, sweetheart, does she know she has $500,000?
No.
Good. Don't tell her about that. What you need to start telling her now is, sweetheart, you are going to have to go to college. And the biggest expense of going to college is getting you to pay for college. And I want you to go to any college you want to go to that you can get into. And that could be about $200,000. So somewhere we're going to have to figure out, where do we come up with that kind of money?
Okay.
So I would start to educate her on knowing that there's going to be a lot of expenses that are going to go out, the value of money. Just start teaching her about needs versus wants, and how important it would be if you only wished you could have a large sum of money. Do you know what I mean? Start teaching her by stories about your own life. Because she loves you, Mama. She loves you. It's all that she has. So when you're talking to her, don't talk to her about things, I want this, I want that, I want. Just say, sweetheart, there is nothing that would make me feel more secure if we had a sum of money for all of us to take care of each other with. Start telling her stories about what money can do to make you happy, not what money can buy. Am I making sense?
Excellent.
That's what you should do, girlfriend, and just make sure you remember minors cannot inherit money. So until she becomes of age, just make sure that you have somebody set up in case something happens to you or whatever, that somebody can be her trustee and take care of her if you can't be around to do so. Make sure that you have taken care of that as well. And now we have Dana in Tennessee. Go for it.
Hi, Susie. So my question is, recently I inherited $25,000 after taxes from my grandmother that is going to be paid out in about $5,000 a year. And my parents and I decided that we would put, at least for the first year, $5,000 in a Roth IRA, and maybe afterwards potentially invest the rest. But my grandmother's financial advisor, who had managed her money before she had died, feels that I should take, after the first year, $5,000 and use it to pay off a portion of the $52,000 I have in student loans for my undergraduate. Currently, I'm in a PhD program that's paid for the next 3 years, and also after I finish, I may possibly qualify for the student loan repayment program for civil and governmental workers. So what is my best option for this money?
How much is the interest rate that you're currently paying on your undergraduate loan?
It varies. From the first year, it was about 13%, and we've gotten it down around the fourth year to be about 8 or 9%.
All right, so you're paying right now 8 or 9%. Really, that's non-tax deductible because it's tax deductible because you're not really making any money right now. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, so up to $2,500 a year is deductible of that 8 or 9% of the interest that you pay. The thing is, how much do you owe?
$52,400.
And I have to tell you, I agree with your grandmother's financial advisor. Because if you put that money into a Roth, which would be a great thing for you to do, the problem is, could you guarantee yourself an 8 or 9% return on that money? And I don't think you can in today's markets. They go up, they go down. We'll see what happens here. But you could guarantee yourself an 8 or 9% return by simply paying off your student loan. And I think Granny would be incredibly happy to know that her money went to pay 50% of your student loan. I would pay it down and not take the chance of not being able to. Because people never ever want to think that the unthinkable can happen, sometimes it's those exact people that make the biggest mistakes. Also, I don't care that he's a CFO. There is not one of these investments that I think is worth it. And later, when wanting something, ask me, can I afford it? Quavando, what do you want to buy?
I want to go to professional wrestling school. And you know what, Susie?
What?
I'm going to give my opponents a freebie. Save their bodies from the pain and just approve me.
I'm back with my best calls you've never heard on this Christmas Eve. Still keeping my eye on Santa. Let's take a look. Wow. As he continues his travels, he's making great time. China, India, Nepal, then Russia. As he delivers his gifts to children around the world, want to give yourself a gift? Take care of your will and trust. I say it over and over. Susan called me recently because she knew how important a will and trust are. Unfortunately, her in-laws didn't.
I'm calling because my in-laws think that because my husband is an only child, they don't need to have a will or trust set up. They think that as long as he's the primary beneficiary, and they don't have to do anything except name him on their accounts. They just retired, and they're pretty well off. They're in their mid-60s, and I'm afraid they'll lose what they have accumulated over their lifetime to the government.
So let me ask you this. Wait, before you go on, you say that he's been named as the primary beneficiary. What kind of accounts do they have? Obviously, a life insurance policy?
No, they don't have a life insurance policy.
Do they have a retirement account?
They have, like a 401k. They have
and on the
Roth IRAs. They have savings accounts. Their home.
All right, so let's stop right there. How have they named him as the primary beneficiary on their home? Is his name on the deed?
No, I don't think so.
All right, so that is where you can talk to them. It is true, Susan, it is true that if you have a savings account, you can make it pay on death or transfer on death so that when somebody dies, it immediately goes to your husband or whoever you've named without probate. So when you actually name a beneficiary on an item, such as a life insurance policy, a retirement account, on your savings accounts, it will avoid probate. Absolutely, they're correct there. So that's fine.
Okay.
However, their home, unless his name is on the actual deed, if they die, the only way that that deed can transfer from their names to the name of your husband is by going through a process known as probate. Probate can take anywhere up from 6 months to 2 years. It can be very costly, but here's what they're not thinking about. The mistake that they're making is the son, your husband, is with them. They're all out to dinner, and the three of them are killed in a car crash together. Then what? Now what happens? So because people never ever want to think that the unthinkable can happen, they think they've taken care of everything. Sometimes it's those exact people that make the biggest mistakes. Also, and I just have to say this, what happens if they now get older? And now they cannot handle their money. They've had strokes, they become incapacitated, they just get older. A will is not going to help them. Naming a beneficiary isn't going to help them. A living revocable trust with an incapacity clause is what they need. Girlfriend, they need to listen to you, but more importantly, what I am saying right here, tell them they need to listen to me. Paula, my love, ask me your question.
Hi, Susie. It's so nice to speak with you. I really value your opinion.
Thank you. What do you need my opinion on?
Well, after a recent health scare, I've been thinking about life insurance. And over the years, you've said that if you don't have anyone depending on you, you don't need life insurance.
Correct.
Well, I'm 58, single, with no kids, and I own my own home. And presently, I don't have any life insurance. But now, my house is underwater, and there wouldn't be any cash out. So should I pick up a small life insurance policy to cover debt, or what's your advice?
So let's play this out. If you die, who gets all your assets?
Family members.
How do they get it? A will or a trust?
Will.
A will. Well, that's the first thing you need to think about. You're worrying about you need money to make sure that this house isn't underwater, but the truth of the matter is they're going to lose probate fees, all these things. You need a living revocable trust. That is number one, because that also protects you in case of an incapacity. I've already addressed that. However, here is my next question for you. The people that you are leaving this home to, are they going to want it? Are they going to live in it? Or are they just going to turn around and sell it?
Well, they're out of state, so they'll probably just turn around and sell it.
Right. So here, you're going to save them a lot of trouble. If the house is underwater, then you could just not even worry about it because you owe the bank more than what it's worth. Once you die, nobody's going to take over that mortgage for you. The relatives could just say, I don't want this. The bank just takes it back, and you don't have to waste money on getting a life insurance policy. Is it that easy? You don't need life insurance. Got it? Let's go to New Jersey. James, you're on the air.
Hi, Susie. Great to talk to you.
Thank you, sir.
I have a quick question. Iraqi dinars. I have a friend that's been urging me to buy Iraqi dinars. I just don't have enough information on it. I really can't find anything on the internet or regarding any banks that talks about dinars. I just want your take on whether it's a good investment or not.
Tell me, I don't think it's a good investment, but tell me a little bit about this friend of yours who's urging you to buy dinars. Has he done other things with money that you admire?
Well, this friend has tried several different projects.
And how many of them? How many of them, James, have succeeded?
Maybe one.
One out of how many?
Maybe
10?
5 or 6.
All right, 5 or 6. So he has a 20% track record. And of the one that succeeded, how well did it succeed? Did it succeed off the charts that changed his life? Did it succeed just a little bit? How much did it succeed?
Not at all, because he's still at it.
He's still at it. All right, so you want to take advice from somebody who has never succeeded at one of the ventures that he has done. If you were to buy dinars, do you buy them through him? Is he connected somehow? Does he refer you to somebody? What is his connection with the dinars?
It would be referred to someone else.
Oh, and did you ask him if you buy it through this person, does he get a referral fee? Did you ask him that question?
No, I did not.
Do you think that by chance he does?
I really don't know.
What's your gut tell you? Why would he want you to buy dinars through somebody else if he is not benefiting from it? Why would he want that? And continue to ask you to do so. Because I bet you any amount of money, he didn't just say to you, buy it once. He asks you every time he sees you. Has he not even called you up to say, have you bought the dinars yet?
Every now and then I get a text from him saying...
Oh, how did I know that? You and I have never spoken. Our producers didn't ask you those questions. How did I know that? Because he makes money off of the fact if you do this. Currency trading, buying foreign currencies, I don't care what the currencies are the most speculative things you can do. You better know what you're doing. You better have money to lose. It is something that for most people I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. Up next, you can't afford to miss. Can I afford it?
I am interested in buying a stock.
You are? How come?
Well, I saw this show a couple months ago when another boy wanted to buy a stock, and that got me interested into buying one.
And Can I Afford It callback. Michael wanted to spend $750 on hair replacement. Have you ever tried to shave these things that are on the side of your head?
No.
Why don't we do that? So I have to see a picture of this. Look how much younger you look. What do you want to buy?
Professional wrestling school.
Element complete skateboard.
Buying a stock.
Welcome back, everybody, to my Christmas Eve Best Calls You've Never Heard show. This is the Can I Afford It segment. This is where you call in, you tell me what you want to buy, and I tell you if you can afford it or not. Tonight, I've got some young callers and a special hair-raising Can I Afford It callback just for tonight. Let's do it. Eric, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie.
Hi, Eric.
I am interested in buying a stock.
You are? How come?
Well, I saw this show a couple months ago when another boy wanted to buy a stock, and that got me interested into buying one.
Was that Trevor? Was that Trevor called in a little while ago and he wanted to buy, I think, Under Armour stock? Was that the guy you saw?
Yeah.
I want to buy a stock market investment for $65.
Trevor, what stock do you want to buy?
I want to buy Under Armour.
You are approved. You want to make an investment in the stock market of $75. Do you know the stock that you want to buy?
I would probably like to buy GameStop.
A GameStop. All right. Boyfriend, show me the money.
Well, my income is $25 a month from allowance.
Yeah.
I have no expenses, no debt, and my savings are $300 liquid.
And so you want to take $75, almost 25% of your money, and put it into one stock. Is that correct?
Yes.
What would happen if you lost all that money? How would you feel about it?
Well, I would feel pretty sad, but I could just work it back up from allowance probably.
All right, as long as somebody keeps giving you that allowance, correct?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
All right, now, I am going to approve you to invest in the stock market. However, I would not take $75 and just buy one stock. I would ask you to educate yourself just a little bit more and look into buying exchange-traded funds so that you can diversify that money so that in case that one stock goes down, you don't lose all your money or some of it. Diversify it, my love, and that is the way to do it. Joseph, what do you want to buy?
I want to buy an Element complete skateboard.
Oh, let me look at this. Oh, it's cool. $90. Is this going to be your first skateboard?
No, it's actually going to be my second one.
And how old are you?
10.
10. And what happened to your last one?
My last one broke.
Why?
Because it was old.
Oh, so that means you really, really used it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Boyfriend, show me the money.
Okay. I have an income of $25 per month.
Mm-hmm.
I have no expenses, no debt, and my savings are $463 in liquid, $13,560 in my 529, and $1,200 in saving bonds.
And do you feel like you have enough money to do this? How are you going to pay $90?
I'm going to take it out of my liquid savings.
And will you be replacing it? Will you be working harder to make even more than $25 a month? Or are you just happy with the way things are right now?
No, I'm actually going to try to get more than $25 per month to pay it off.
Good. Yeah, I like that. So, Joseph, the truth is you can afford it. But you got to listen to me for a second here, Joseph. Just remember, as you get older, you're really not going to have somebody giving you an allowance. You're really going to have all these bills that you have to pay for. So just don't think because you can afford this skateboard because you have money in the bank means later on in life, if you have money in the bank, that you're going to be able to afford it because your expenses are going to be different. Got that, boyfriend? How do you say your name? Quavando?
Yes, ma'am.
Quavando. What does that mean?
I'm not sure. I tried searching all over the internet to see what it really meant, but I can't find anything, so I'm not sure. I guess it's just like a made-up name.
Yeah, it kind of sounds romantic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to say sexy, but I don't know you well enough. But Quavando, what do you want to buy?
I want to go to professional wrestling school. And the reason why is because wrestling has always been a dream of mine. And in this school, I can train with former WWE wrestlers that have been wrestling for the WWE for many years, and this is going to be a good look for me.
So $3,500. But before you show me the money, can you just imagine it? You go, you become a wrestler, and now they're saying, for the heavyweight championship, we have Quavando. Can you just see it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
you
ma'am.
can see it. I'm just going to tell you a little secret. Do you know that when I was little, we had one television set in the whole household. At night, they used to have wrestling on at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning in Chicago, and I would go and sneak the little TV. It was on this portable little thing that would roll. I would roll it out really quietly from my mom and dad's bedroom, put it in my bedroom, and I would stay up and watch wrestling. I loved it. But anyway, show me the money. Quavando.
All right, I take home $529 a month.
Yeah.
My expenses is $97 a month. I have no debt, and I have $5,827 in liquid savings. And you know what, Susie?
What?
I'm going to give my opponents a freebie. Save their bodies from the pain and just approve me.
All right, you know what? You are approved. Because number 1, you have the money. Number 2, you have the passion. Number 3, you are 20 years of age with that much money saved. Are you kidding me? And you have a dream. Go dream it, make it a reality. But listen to me. Once you get in that ring and you have your first serious match, I want to hear from you because I think I'd like to come and see Quavando be the winner. All right, now, guess what we're going to do? We're going to do a Can I Afford It callback. What is that? This is where we call back somebody and see, did they listen to me? Did they do what I told them to do? And we're gonna find out. Now, all of you may remember Michael. Michael wanted hair replacement. See him there? He wanted that little shiny top to be covered with hair. And I didn't quite agree with it, but take a look and see for yourself.
I want to buy a hair system because I'm in the public eye and I'm very self-conscious about my appearance.
Have you ever tried to shave these things that are on the side of your head?
No.
Why don't we do that? Bottom line, financially speaking, you have been approved. However, before you do that, before you spend money on that, because, you know, people can always tell that something's been dug. You see the little plug, you know, you can see it. Do me a favor. Shave your head totally. It will grow back, and I guarantee you, you will like what you look like. Michael, are you bald?
No, I'm not bald.
You did do, so what does that mean if you're not bald? What did you do?
I have a hair system, and I've had it ever since I talked with you. And you approved me, so I went forward with confidence and went to the best place I found in the United States and had hair made.
All right, so I have to see a picture of this because you would have been sexy either way. Look how much younger you look. You look hot there, and in this picture too. Can you make them different lengths?
So you can get anything you want, of course, you know, and however much you want to spend, right?
Yeah, so I have a question. Has it improved your, life? Has it gone out with anybody, or were you married?
Well, let me tell you, I'm just getting back on my feet from a lot of different places in life that I've been. But let me tell you, Susie, with hair, I feel 30 and I feel great. I look great. So the $160 a month that you approved me for, you betcha. I eat less fast food. I eat more energy bars and work out. I'm actually spending less. I feel better. I look better. I dress better. I do better.
Who knew that hair was that important? But the truth of the matter is, I think it's the #1 email that I personally get. Susie, who does your hair? So, Michael, I couldn't be happier for you if I tried. Not only could you afford it, but the truth of the matter is, you look better with hair. I was wrong. Now, don't ever repeat that because I don't say it often. Hey, do you want to be part of the Can I Afford It segment? All you have to do is go to my website, SuzeOrman.com, and you will find the information you need to know there to come and play with me right here. Everybody, you listen to me right now. Do not take out a student loan unless you know what you want to be, you know you're going to complete college, you know what it's going to cost you. Be careful. Welcome back to the Suze Orman Show. Santa continues his mad sleigh dash across the world on this Christmas Eve. He should be hitting England. Yeah, there's Big Ben. See it? Now, where is he? France, the Eiffel Tower. And look, everybody, there's the Olympic Stadium in Greece. And now we see the pyramids in Egypt. Wow. Welcome back on this Christmas Eve. You know, there's so many ways for you to be able to participate in the Suze Orman Show. Take a look at your screen. You can either get me on Facebook, you can tweet me, webcam, many ways. But if you want a question answered here that you tweet, just put #AskSuzy, and we may just choose one of your questions. I so wish Jessica had called me before she got her student loan. Take a look at what's happened to her and let it be a warning to anyone about getting a private student loan. Let's go now to Jessica in Ohio. Go for it.
Hi, Susie. I have about $25,000 in one student loan that has gone into collections that they are trying to collect on. They were letting me make $100 courtesy payments as I cannot afford to pay it in full, but they would like to settle for about half the amount. I have tried to get commercial loans, but no commercial or private lender will loan me half the amount, even with partial collateral of my car, in order to pay it off. And I don't have any family members that would be able to loan me the money. And I don't like to think that I will have to pay, you know, almost 3 times the amount of the loan in interest because of monthly payments. So what other options may I have to get this taken care of?
So, Jessica, what did you go to school in?
I went for pharmacy, but I never graduated.
All right. And so do you feel that it's unfair because you never graduated and you never really used this money and all, that you should have to pay it back?
Well, no, it's not that. I understand that I have the loan, and I should have to pay it back. I just, with the way that the interest has accrued and the fact that right now it's in collections and they think that it's all due in full, they want it now.
Yeah, but Jessica,
I don't have that money.
let me ask you this. Is this a private student loan?
Yes.
All right, so it's with a bank, not the federal government, because the federal government never would have done that to you.
It's through Terry, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
So I'm not, but that is why I've always said to all of you, be very, very careful about private student loans. Now, the truth of the matter is a private student loan, any student loan in most cases, is not dischargeable in bankruptcy. So they have the right to come after you and garnish your wages. Are you currently working?
Yes, and I would like to avoid that if at all costs.
All right, but here is the problem, really. If you do not have the money to pay them, you don't have anybody to go to negotiate that, then you're kind of stuck saying to them the truth, which is, I would love to pay you $12,500 and get this out of my sight, but I don't have the money. So if you're willing to do that, what else are you willing to do with me so that we can settle this? Are you willing to let me pay $12,500 out every, in payments every month? How much can you afford every month to pay to them?
Right now, I'm really stuck between $100 and $200 as a payment.
So you need to say to them, listen, all I can give to you is $200 at most per month. That's the best I can do. Take it or leave it. And if you leave it and you want to sue me, fine. You're not going to get any money there either. Just talk like that with them, and maybe you can come up with a settlement. But that is why student loans are so dangerous. Everybody, you listen to me right now. Do not take out a student loan unless you know what you want to be. You know you're going to complete college. You know what it's going to cost you. Be careful. Warning, warning.
A colleague of mine at work has been telling me about a split life insurance policy, which is part whole life. It seems too good to be true, and now the debate in our home has heated up. My husband and I are split on what to do.
I don't even know your husband, and I agree with him.
Oh, no.
Welcome back to my Best Calls You've Never Heard show on this Christmas Eve. You know, I love term life insurance. You know, I hate whole life, universal life insurance, variable life insurance. for most people. Now there's a relatively new product that combines the two, and that has Emily wondering if it's a good idea. Take a look. Texas, Texas, I love Texas. Emily, what's on your mind?
Hi. Hello, Susie. Thank you so much for taking my question. I'm a 38-year-old married professional who has, I guess, thankfully been following your advice for years. And my question today is for people who maximize their 401k and IRAs, how do you feel about investing in a combination life insurance policy? A colleague of mine at work has been telling me about a split life insurance policy, which is part whole life. It seems too good to be true, and now the debate in our home has heated up. My husband and I are split on what to do, so I thought I would call and get your advice. Is this a wise investment?
Who wants to do what? You want to do it because your colleague has done it, and he does not want to do it.
Correct. I think my colleague is a CFO. For some reason, that makes me think maybe this is a wise investment. My husband has a background in finance and says that I'm crazy.
You believe a CFO over your husband?
Did I just say that?
You just said that. I don't even know your husband, and I agree with him.
Oh, no.
A CFO, are you kidding me? A CFO knows how to manipulate anything, and I have a saying, there's nothing easier to do than to sell a salesman. Did that make sense to you? So when you're used to manipulating things and seeing things in all different ways, something can be presented to you and you just go, oh, I can see that. So I don't care that he's a CFO. There is not one of these investments that I think is worth it. The commissions are off the charts. There are so many better ways for you to invest, whether it's a no-load mutual fund or exchange-traded funds or whatever it may be. But why in the world would you do that? You're still paying for the insurance. I know they make it look like it's tax-free. I know they make it look all these attractive things, but the only person, in my opinion, it's attractive to is the one that is selling it to you. Stick by your husband, girlfriend. He's the one that matters. Up next, one more thing that I want you to know. I have some milk. Yeah, Santa likes milk. And I have some cookies waiting for him. Welcome back, everybody. Before we go tonight, there's still just one more thing I want you to know. I think Santa is almost here. Look, he just passed my home in Florida, and oh, I better get ready. I have some milk. Yeah, Santa likes milk. And I have some cookies waiting for him for when he gets here. So I better get going. So here's what I want you to really know. I want all of you to have a very Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, and always remember, people first, then money, then things. You stay safe. Bye-bye.
Ho, 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 ho. Mmm. Mmm. Oh, ho, 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 ho.